I've spoiled the lead. Hey, you're here, Jesse May, Peluso. And I gotta put your microphone on.
It would be nice to be involved in this production.
I feel the same way.
Why do you say the intro each time you're that committed? Why don't you just have it pre-recorded?
Because the second half of it changes with the guest every time.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you just add that part?
Wouldn't it be kind of strange?
I guess it would.
For the person, because it's usually not somebody that I am acquainted with that's on the show.
I'm the only one that you keep bringing back?
No.
Aren't you and Mark McGrath butt buddies?
Trying to be. He's pretty big right now. I don't know if you've heard.
No, did you see that video of him on Cameo?
I sure did. I bet they gave him stock for that.
You think so?
I think that's the single biggest moment in the history of Cameo.
That was pretty big.
I think Cameo, whatever it ever actually got to be, I thought it had already passed its little peak and was on its way out. And I think
you did?
I think so. Was that just like a big thing everybody was into that I wasn't aware? Are you on Cameo?
I am on Cameo. I just kind of like started to say I'm on Cameo because I was on a flight back from connecting through Chicago back to LA 2 days ago. And Chris Frangiola was there as another comedian.
He's been on the show.
Yeah. Oh, yes? Mm-hmm. He's great. He was telling me how he's almost been able to add like an addition on his patio because of
Cameo?
Cameo, yeah.
With all due respect to Chris Frangiola. Chris Frangiola?
Chris Frangiola. Here's the Cameo pitch. If Chris Frangiola can do it, anyone can do it. And I love you, Chris.
Yeah, if he's bringing in contractors on the basis of giving shout-outs, are you like getting a Florida room or a patio?
Am I? No, I don't. Now I don't even have like a whole house, but now I might have to like just get a house so I can do a Cameo patio.
This is the Cameo room.
This was paid for and sponsored by Cameo.
I thought that it was, not a flop. Any website that gets on my radar is more successful than 99% of the websites that have ever been launched, but I didn't think Cameo had really done much of anything, and I think more people are aware of it now, thanks to Mark McGrath. I was just happy he landed on his feet, because internet viral notoriety is a very, very fickle thing.
It's a tricky thing.
Yeah. And he could have been knocked down a bunch of pegs, and that could have been, because I've been making this point for years and years. I feel like everybody has to do, and I think TMZ really kind of started this. Somebody can have a really, really big career, but if they ever have that really bad gotcha moment, it becomes 50% of their intro. It's like,
the guy from the gotcha moment.
Jay-Z, he's the biggest MC of his generation. Remember that time his sister-in-law beat him up? Anyway, here's what's going on. Like, they literally get equal billing.
They do.
And I thought that it was going to be like, he just wanted to fly, but don't let him talk to your boyfriend. And instead I saw him within 24 hours doing like parody versions of that for, I don't know if it was Barstool, but like pretty big sports websites.
And he's got a sense of humor.
Oh my God, he's the most self-effacing celebrity I've ever met in my entire life.
I just imagine you guys like holding hands and roller skating on the boardwalk.
We're not. We might be becoming friends like that.
I think you should be best friends.
It's very weird to become friends, with somebody when you're an adult. And I'm not the person.
Why is that weird?
I agree. I'm not the person that makes that weird. This kind of
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Tully.
I'm ready to hang out. Do you want to hang out?
No.
Well, see, I'm just kidding. That was not on me. I opened myself up to you.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
But other adults make it weird. No, I'm totally cool with making new friends. I never assumed that. I love my old friends, but I'm kind of bored of them.
Yeah.
Regular
people?
I never assumed. What do you mean regular people?
Well, people who aren't talking into a microphone for a living. Anything besides that is pretty regular.
I don't. Most of the people with whom I interact on a day-to-day basis, believe it or not, are pretty regular.
Really?
Yes.
Mark McGrath is your best friend.
He's not my best friend.
He's your best friend.
I've tried to hang out with him twice.
You guys are ex-lovers.
The second time, that doesn't mean we're friends.
That's true, but you were at one point.
It makes things more complicated when you're just trying to have a professional radio relationship.
What if he sends you a cameo and he's breaking up with you?
2 crazy weekends in the Poconos. Do not a love affair
make. Oh my God, you guys had a love affair in the Poconos?
You ever been?
Well, now I need to go. I have. I spent some time in Tobyhanna.
I don't know what Tobyhanna is.
It's a part of the Poconos.
I don't know.
It's really great.
They have heart-shaped bathtubs there?
No, the whole Airbnb.
That's not the Poconos.
The whole Airbnb was decorated with bears, like bears everywhere. I kept calling it the Bear B&B. I thought it was pretty clever.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did there?
Yeah.
There
It's
were
hard.
bears on towels and
I think
floors.
I think me and McGrath could be friends. I think we started to cross that threshold. I don't want to talk out of turn. I don't want to.
Let's put it out there. I think that Twitter should decide if you guys should be best friends.
I think Twitter thinks that I think Twitter would agree that we should hang out. And he says that the other thing is celebrity people, and I'm not saying this about him. I don't know Mark all that well. I've spoken to him far more on air than I've ever spoken to him off air, although we're friendly off air.
Do you guys talk while he's inside of you?
Stone-faced lover. I am. He's just ba. And then there was the time, So there I am. Lil' Kim, T-Boz.
T-Boz.
I love T-Boz. She's my favorite of the three.
She was my favorite too. She's like a badass. I miss TLC. Okay, you were saying?
I put it out. Oh, because I had. This is embarrassing what I'm going to say. We had extra tickets to go see King Diamond.
I don't know who that is. Should I?
Well, only because I invited you too.
Oh yeah, that was just like last month.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, was it?
So we had extra tickets. It's one of these things where
I would like to say that also was last month.
Indeed, it was November. I think it was December 1st, believe it or not.
Really?
It was the Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend.
Holy shit.
Time flies.
God.
The relentless march. Tick-tock,
Oh,
tick-tock.
God.
Here we go.
Okay.
End of a decade.
As
Here we
you
are
were.
again.
Fuck.
So we had extra passes to King Diamond, and I guess I just assumed anybody on Earth who's ever heard of King Diamond would jump at the chance to have really VIP tickets to King Diamond. King Diamond has his own beer, and we got to hang out backstage and drink his Danish lager, and then we were with the cool people in the front, not the dangerous pit,
Like the side pit.
No, the one in front of that where you can just hang out, and if you decide you want to go downstairs and get some
you
Chips
can
Ahoy,
leave.
you can just walk and
You're
come
not
back up.
barricaded.
Oh, it was one of the best concert experiences I've ever had, on top of the fact that I've always wanted to go see King Diamond. I was explaining him to my wife, and I was like, okay, so he wears face paint. He got sued by Kiss early on because he's satanic. He's
trying to think of who he is.
You wouldn't know. If you don't know, you wouldn't know. He's a very obscure metal guy.
You're into metal, Tully?
Yeah.
I'm learning so much about you today.
Yeah, wow, I thought we were better friends.
I know, you withhold information.
I don't withhold anything. I'm an open book, and I think I know more about you than you know about me. I have a book.
And people are going to be able to open it today.
Yeah, well, they started shipping it like 4 days early, so people started hitting me up over the weekend showing me the book.
What?
I'm celebrating my book release because my new book with Jason, Still Awesome, is out today. People can get it at jasonellisbook.com. I am celebrating that with the news that a reader sent me that there's 2 typos on one page.
Oh, shit.
Fuck.
Who was asleep at the wheel in the editing room?
Dude, I could not have tried any harder. That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
Even if there were one grammatical like a period out of place, I'd be like, what the
That's my reaction. The first book that we did, which was like with a big publisher and everything, there was a word missing from a paragraph on the first page. You know when it's like one on top and then there's only like a paragraph and a half because it's not even a full page? In that, we managed to fuck up. And I remember hitting up the editor and I was like really in a panic because I thought I was going to get in trouble. Because I went to Catholic school, so I just assume it's my fault.
You just assume guilt right away.
It really is my default setting when things go wrong. Is I get that the cold, sweaty palms. Like, oh, this is gonna be bad. Jesus is gonna find out. Jesus not gonna be happy.
She's gonna be so pissed.
Oh my God, we're gonna get Old Testament God. He's vengeful God. And I hit her up and I was like, so I don't know how to tell you this, but there's a typo on page 1. And she's like, there's always typos in the first edition. And I was like, I was under the impression we were trying here.
Yeah, and also, what rule is that?
So it's very, very hard. You get too close to the material and you just can't see it anymore. You're just like seeing through the matrix. Yeah. You're just seeing ones and zeros.
You're just seeing binary situations.
Exactly. So, but I did try really, really hard. There's this thing in Microsoft Word where this robot voice will read everything to you. So I not only read it 10 million times, I listened to it read to me, which helped me.
That sounds terrible.
It was really slow. It took a lot of time.
Oh, my Lord.
And I'm 42 years old. My hearing is such that I can't have competitive noise. Like I can't like run water. My wife is trying.
Are you already going
I'm
through
a rocker
hearing
too.
loss?
I'm a rocker
which
too.
Which I didn't know as well.
I'm a rocker.
I didn't know. What do you play, the fucking ukulele? What do you do?
Sold my soul for rock and roll. Now I'm paying the price. I'm dealing with it. This is the life I chose to lead.
You look like, you have that energy of like, I don't know if you saw that video on Twitter over the weekend.
It's going to be insulting, isn't it? It's not going to be good. Did you see that video of young Lenny Kravitz?
No.
Out on a date with Lisa Bonet? You remind me of that.
It was a video of this kid who was like, obviously, just.
Are you going to say some sort of mental or physical disorder? Is that where this is going? It is, isn't it?
May not have all of his faculties.
Okay.
Okay, and he did a chest dive, and it was his birthday, and he had a birthday cake set up, but the cake was set up on top of a bunch of barbed wire, which was on top of a piece of plywood that was set up between two folding chairs, so the plywood was lifted up off the ground. And so for his birthday, he body slammed on top of his birthday cake and on top of the barbed wire. You kind of got like that energy.
I'm going to have to see the video.
Yeah, I'll send you the video. It's kind of a compliment.
I feel like it's not.
Okay.
I feel like you don't believe I can rock.
I don't believe it. That's the whole point.
I've rocked a lot of different. I've seen a million faces, and I've rocked almost like many of them.
Have you?
Yeah.
I can't imagine you rocking.
Okay, so I was in a band when I was a teenager.
Did we ever talk about this?
Not necessarily.
We're gonna need some of these Tullywood folks to let me know if I'm having a stoner moment.
I don't know that you are. I don't smoke weed, and I don't remember if we talked about this, but it doesn't mean that we already have. Well,
I don't think I would remember that.
How about this? If you don't remember it and I don't remember it, there's a good chance that there's something wrong with people listening to this show too, and they don't remember.
Do we all have a lapse of?
Many people listening would know the short, if not the long, of this. So I'll give you kind of a brief version. I was in a band when I was 14 years old. I put a personal ad in the East Coast Rocker, which was the New Jersey, New York musicians' paper of record.
Oh my God.
It was the New York Times of rocking. And I put a personal ad that said, 14-year-old guitar player tired of the bullshit.
Do you have that? Tell me you still have it. Tully, how could you not frame that and save it?
I was rocking and rolling. I was living for the moment.
Oh my God. Were you a virgin at that time?
Was I a virgin at that time? Would have been close. I don't recall. Would have been close. Me fucking and rocking happened within like probably about
5 minutes,
7 months of each other.
Okay.
It was real close.
Okay.
And these guys answered it, and they lived like a half hour away, and they'd already been in a band that had played at clubs and stuff like that, and they also felt like their band members weren't taking it as seriously as they wanted to take it, so we took it seriously. We played in clubs when I was 15.
How old were they?
They're a year older than me.
Oh my God, so it's just a bunch of like young
Children.
Boys with undescended balls out there rocking hard.
14, 15,
There's
and then
a couple
we added
still
like
tuck
a
up in there.
16 or 17-year-old guitar player. Yeah, you're not that wrong.
You're not
we were
that
definitely talking the
bald.
talk more than we were walking the walk.
What was the name of the band?
Went through many names. Originally, we were called Acid Brats.
That's not bad.
It's a Bruce Springsteen lyric.
Oh, that takes it down a notch.
But I thought it was
No,
a
just
deep. It's a
kidding.
deep cut.
I'm not talking shit on the boss.
We got named. We named ourselves a bunch of different things, and ultimately we were known as National Velvet.
Whoa, National Velvet.
It's not too bad.
Not too bad at all.
There was a Canadian band as it turned out, touring with the same name at the time. So had we gone all the way, we probably would have had to change it, but we didn't.
Little cease and desist.
We didn't know about that. Yeah, that happens.
I can't believe you're a rocker.
Stick a Z on the end or something. So we did that through high school. I did that. I recorded stuff. I played a bunch of clubs in New York, and then I forget the exact timing of it, but there was like a talent search kind of thing. This guy who had some credits on some pretty big albums. Again, the credits, in retrospect, we came to learn sounded a little more impressive than they were. But it was on TV. It was on TV in New York and New Jersey.
The credits were what?
I kind of want to say what he was like. Albums everybody's heard of.
Right.
But was he actually the guy at the helm of it, or was he a little bit further down the totem pole? His name's on the liner notes of very big albums.
Paul Anka.
No.
Tom Jones.
Big people.
Tom Jones is big.
Bigger than Tom Jones.
Tom Jones is really big.
Especially in the crotch region.
Oh, yeah.
And so we won the thing, and he pretty much led us to believe that we were going to get a record deal really quickly. So when I finished high school, I didn't go to college. I was just rocking. And I collected unemployment, hanging out with a cat.
Hanging out with a cat?
Yeah, we had a house cat. I didn't have a job, so I just collected and was supposedly practicing, but wasn't very disciplined. And
Are you naturally good?
No, I'm fucking horrible.
Well, I don't know. I can't play a lick of nothing. I
Yeah.
can play like a couple of drum beats. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was good enough to have somebody who was trying to, who was making his living managing bands, take my band and give us some money and put us in front of record labels.
That's wild.
But it wasn't good enough for any of the record labels to actually sign us and
look,
let us make a record.
It doesn't. They aren't the end all be all. Let's just be honest. Like it's not like a science where the record label knows who's good and who's not.
It would be interesting to see nowadays because it would have been different. Back then, there was all the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Where if so and so from Island Records didn't hear it, you just didn't get a shot, and that was the end of it. Nowadays, I guess we would have started social media accounts.
Right, you got your own. We are the gatekeepers
and
now.
maybe we would have gotten a following, or maybe we wouldn't. I don't know.
The creators are.
I don't know.
So you
so that's
picked
really
up music naturally. You didn't you didn't go to classes.
I took guitar lessons for about a year and a half, but so I know the
First?
basics. I got a guitar when I was 12. I was an athlete. I don't know if it will surprise you to learn
feel like there's a lot of lies being told today. I feel like there's a lot of lies.
And I got injured.
What kind of athlete?
I think I've shown you my wound before. You've
Oh
seen
God,
this,
I don't
right?
know if I want to see your wound. It's not even 11 a.m.
So I got a big scar on there.
That doesn't look like a scar. Oh wait,
Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That's a pretty good one.
So I got that, and so I had to stop being a jock. So I started rocking. And I got a Kramer Starfighter guitar, and I learned how to play a little bit. And I put my ad in the local paper.
Tully, I was not ready for all this today.
Yeah.
I learned that you were a rock star, you were a jock star, and now you're an author. You're a goddamn legend. No, I know you're working on your book. You've been working on that for a while.
Fucking ever, dude.
It must feel good to have it done.
Yeah, that's like a real backhanded way of putting it, but it is the way that I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels real good to be.
You finished it.
Mm-hmm.
You finished it.
And apparently, so far, I've only made 2 mistakes in it. God.
Well, not necessarily you.
No, it was me. It's my responsibility. I went through it with the Clockwork Orange, like the eye things, just peeling your eyes open, just trying read it out loud. Slow is every fucking word right. To say nothing of the fact that I hired not 1 but 2 proofreaders.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you hired proofreaders, what's the fucking point? It's like hiring, somebody to make sure that items aren't left inside of you after a surgery and somebody leaves an item. You're like, well, I had 2 people checking for scalpels.
It is fucking crazy that they leave the poster for that where civilians can see it.
Seriously.
When they were delivering my child, I saw that poster and I remember talking to the OBGYN.
Like the percentage of
since the beginning of time, surgeons have been leaving scalpels inside women's vaginas. Don't let it happen to you.
God!
And I just said to her, I'm like, that seems like a valuable warning, you guys, but I couldn't put that in the break room?
Yeah. How about at the door coming into the fucking hospital?
Right.
How about right when you sign in?
Mm.
Leaving a scalpel in the pussy?
I don't know exactly what it was, but I know that, when they deliver a baby, they bring in, it looks like, the thing that you put on the back of a closet to put your shoes in.
Yeah.
Like the plastic kind of.
Yeah,
they have one of those with a and there's a butt for every little thing that they use to deliver the baby, so that when they are done, everyone goes back in its own little case.
Right, everything's got its
so they
space.
can say, a space for everything and everything.
There
in
should
its
be
space.
nothing left, no scalpel left behind.
Right.
I'm still holding my vagina.
Does that make you uncomfortable?
It does. The thought of someone slicing it, like the episiotomy aspect, is just, it's insane. Everyone says how beautiful it is, but it also feels a little alien-like. It's a little bit of a possession of a.
I don't know where people
parasitic.
get started with this whole birth is beautiful thing.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal before, I guess the pregnancy is beautiful, but even parts of that are brutal.
Yes.
The cravings, the mood swings, the pain, the shifting, and the way your nipples evolve, and
yeah. And do you know about how your hips naturally
your hips start popping out and separating?
Yeah, the ligaments or tendons or something become gelatinous goo.
Yeah, they
and your
literally
hips,
stretch.
Your hips literally get wider so that you can deliver the baby. And isn't evolution a damned crazy thing that it is so hard for me, and I've joked about it a lot, but it is so hard for me to believe that there isn't some sort of creator, God, what have you, just guiding evolution. To think that that's something that could have happened
just in a natural
by chance, and then it caught on.
Yeah, it's strange.
I think people think that they understand. If you think you understand evolution, you probably haven't really thought about it.
Right. Well,
it's fucking bonkers.
It is bonkers because even science, you're
I believe in it, but it's crazy.
I didn't know I was on a Mormon podcast. Apparently, we're on a Mormon podcast right now and talking about Jesus and stuff. It's not even fucking noon, but.
Yeah, this has been pretty lordy, hasn't it?
It's a little lordy. Are you gonna ask me to be a part of your like polygamous cult? Are you not gonna ask me because I'm not your?
We're not accepting applications at the moment, but
I had this thought.
I will let you know if anything.
Let me know if something pops up,
polygamous.
okay? Because I'll come and play the finger cymbal in the house. We'll keep it a musical house.
I appreciate your interest, but we're set for the holidays, and you usually do some layoffs after. So I don't want to lead you on.
We're set for the holidays. It's such a rude thing to say.
I don't want you to miss out on opportunities with other polygamous cults.
Would you
ever be in a polygamous cult?
Well,
could you imagine a scenario?
I could imagine a scenario because it'd be nice just to have a few bitches in the house helping me out.
I mean, that's not like the first element of polygamous cult that comes to mind for me is housework.
What is it, the sacrificial stuff? I can overlook that.
No, it's like the group sexual life.
I mean, even you're sharing the effort, so I'm not having to the dick isn't solely my responsibility. It's a village.
Such a negative way of looking at it.
No. I'm saying I have help.
Yeah.
I'll feel.
Are we assuming it is one man and many women? Because when you say polygamous
that's polygamy,
cult,
isn't it?
It doesn't have to be.
Oh, it doesn't have to be. I'm thinking of
it could just be one big happy fuck family.
Well, what is there's a term for a woman who's the centrifugal force, and there's a bunch of men, and there's a man, and there's a bunch of women. There's different titles for each of those.
It doesn't surprise me that there would be titles for such of those. For each of those, I do not think I've ever heard of an arrangement where a woman had multiple husbands.
There's a couple older tribes where that is a situation. I think there might be an Amazonian tribe where it's more common for the woman to be. I think polygamy, the man is a center, or it's polyamorous is when there's many lovers, and then polygamy is for a man, and then there's the other gamy for a woman. I can't think of what.
Well, polyamorous would just be that you have carnal knowledge of lots of different people. Igamy is being in a more stable relationship. Monogamy, bigamy, that's
right.
So polygamy to me would just be we got a thing going on,
right? Not
just this one time during a layover.
So it's like a ongoing.
It's a relationship.
It's a relationship. It's an ongoing relationship. We got to look this up. I need to look it up because I'm the type of person I can't let it go. If there's a term, I know that there's some sort of term for the female. Would you be in a relationship with a female if there was a bunch of other dudes?
No, I don't really like men all that much.
You wouldn't, even for the most amazing female besides your wife. Just imagine. I
can imagine a scenario. I can put myself outside of life with my wife. That's not that hard for me to imagine. For the sake of conversation.
Okay. So
no, I do not. I when I think about having had male roommates in the past, in between college and early adulthood, I had several. I could never imagine living with another man again for the rest of my life. The thought actually...
What is it about living with a man that grosses you out?
Where to begin?
What's the worst part about that? What do you think is the worst part about,
I think it's just on a real animal level. I don't want to share my living space with another adult male. I don't want to hear them walking past. I don't want to smell them.
What about living? Have you ever lived with a female?
Have I ever had a female
that's just
roommate?
A platonic?
I have lived with couples, not like that. So yeah, I've had. At one point, I had a place where I was living with a couple, a guy and a dude. So yeah, very often, they were a couple, but sometimes he was off at work and she wasn't, and so we were just roommates having a cup of coffee at the. Yeah, I've had female roommates. Yeah, I would far rather do that than live with them.
I have had male roommates. I had a situation where I was living in a railroad apartment with a male, and his bedroom was beyond mine. He had to walk through mine every morning.
Oh my!
And he was a journalist for the Associated Press. He still is. So he'd have to get up real early. Sometimes I'd have dudes there, I'd have hookups in the bed. And
this is in New York.
This is in Hoboken. Larry Newmeister. He actually saved my career because I was bartending in New York, and at the time my rent got increased. I didn't have anybody to live with, so all the rent was on me, and I couldn't afford it, and I didn't have any savings, and I sort of exhausted borrowing money from my family. And I was at the bar one night, and Larry used to come in often. That's how I met him, because he used to work right down at the Associated Press, which was right down the street in Tribeca, where I worked at Puffy's Tavern. And he came in one night, and I just was so bummed out. He was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "I'm gonna have to leave New York. I can't I don't know what else to do. I have no other options. And he just so happened to have a room open up. He didn't tell me that he'd have to walk through it every fucking morning, but he charged me barely any rent.
Oh, beggars can't be choosers.
Beggars can't be choosers, you know?
But he didn't just give you the back?
No, because it was too small.
Oh,
he offered me whatever. I was like, I want this like a little bit big. I don't mind you walking through. It was a great living experience.
When you're young, the bohemian thing comes so much more naturally.
It really does.
It didn't bother me. I don't think I would have wanted to live by myself when I was 22. I was reflecting fondly the other day on a time my buddy, who's very successful chef now, he and I were roommates, and the music thing had not worked out. The radio thing had not yet started. So I'd got a worthless college degree.
Right.
And I do use it for writing books now. So at least I did end up in a roundabout way using college a little bit. Just hasn't, not in a way that made any economic sense for what college cost. But I was a waiter and he was a cook and we were roommates and we were so broke. I think our rent was like $1,800 a month, which this is.
God, that's cheap.
$2,000. It was a race every single month.
Oh, I know.
To make the rent.
I know
that was a stupendous amount of money to anybody who didn't live in Manhattan.
Yep.
And we did it, and I have no regrets, but I remember there was a weekend where we had to pay rent. We had no money left over, and all we thought to do is we went and bought a Super Nintendo, which was like very obsolete at that point.
Fucking dudes,
we went over to St. Mark's Place, a couple blocks from where we lived, and we bought a Super Nintendo and 2 used games and 2 cases of beer.
You're like, fuck it. If we're going out having some fun.
And it was one of the fucking best weekends we ever had together. We just got shit-faced and played Mario Kart.
And you know what? You made it.
Yeah, we did.
You guys fucking made it.
I thought it was like we were just making the best of it, but we actually ended up having a really, really fun weekend. I don't think we left the house for like a month after that. We were like, actually, Mario Kart's better than life.
That's I love those like little memories of where you didn't think you were going to make it, and then you just realize that stress is so useless.
I don't know if I agree with that because I do know what you mean, and by and large, I think you're correct. There's a great song.
God damn, we argue every time, Tully.
And that's what keeps us exciting. William Shatner makes music.
What'd you call me?
William Shatner makes music.
Are you friends with William Shatner?
I've never met Shatner.
He seems like a delight. He's been very humbled by life.
Okay, perfect. You know those things about him,
Yeah.
and you'll get this. His music career, this album he made, remember Ben Folds?
Yeah, of course.
A brick, right?
He's a great musician.
He made an album with Ben Folds where he kind of talks Shatner's through Ben Fold songs, and it's very pleasant. And
is it like Baz Luhrmann style? Kind of like those Alan Watts videos
bit.
where it's like,
I know what you mean. Is that don't wear sunscreen?
Yeah, the graduation song.
Yeah. Right.
Is he singing a little bit more than speaking?
They're more songs than just monologues set to
Got
it
it,
back.
got it.
There's parts
There's
and Ben
some
Folds
musicality
will sing
to
a
it.
chorus and stuff like that. But he just has this. It's an album about getting old and looking back at his life. And there's a song that I forget what it's called, but the point of it is that all there was? Like, all I did was get stressed about getting over this hump and getting over that hump, and boy, what am I going to do about blah, 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 and now that I can see the finish line, what was I concerned about the whole time? I don't feel like I'm qualified to say that. I feel like it's insulting for me to say that because, okay, there was that time that I was struggling to pay my rent, but I never ended up not paying the rent and couldn't find a job and living on the street and there wasn't a couch in my parents' house to go back to. I always had such a safety net, and for all of the close calls that I've had in my life, the worst case scenario that I was afraid of has never really come to pass, or if it did, it wasn't that bad of a worst case scenario.
It's never the worst case scenario for
sometimes
most part.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is, but even
people.
then.
So I for me, it's easy to say that what have I worried about? And one of the best I love, what's his fucking name? He's a comedian. He's funny.
Is he white, black, Asian?
He's white.
Latino?
He has that TV show Corporate on Comedy Central. Him and
Jake
Weissman.
Yeah,
Jake.
I love Jake Weissman. We worked on a pilot together.
Put out a tweet one time that just said, and I've said this on the show a million times, I love this. I think it all the time. If you're stressed about what you're doing today, look at your emails from 365 days ago. And see if you give a shit about any of the things that were, because you were just distressed then.
True.
So you can have it both ways.
There's levels of it.
By and large, I totally agree with you. What are we so worried about?
Stress is definitely a survival mechanism. Part of it is definitely a survival thing where, you're going through some sort of trials and tribulations in your body and your being creates avenues for you to solve them. And the stress is just sort of a result of your brain trying to problem solve.
Stress is really useful.
It can be useful, but
if I'm not stressed enough to do radio, it's not as good. If I'm too stressed.
Well, that's true. Stress does provide good ammunition. Like, it's almost like the conduit to fodder.
It's just like another caffeine. It just focuses.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's energy. Like, anger is an energy, stress is energy.
Yeah,
but too much of it and it starts to consume you.
Imagine Bill Burr without anger.
Right.
I mean, would he be funny?
Is he stressed about stuff?
Yeah, that's his whole. He's frustrated. He's irritated.
Is he really like that still?
No, I don't think so. I think getting older.
He does walk angry. Because one time I walked out of the Comedy Store and I wish I'd said it instead of just thinking it, but him and I walk at the exact same angry East Coast pace, and he's famous enough that I think he needs to, when he hears footsteps, he kind of needs to look over his shoulder, and he's just marching out of the Comedy Store, and I'm fucking marching to my car, and it's just a coincidence that I'm 5 angry, fast northeast paces behind him, but he's aware that somebody is pacing him, and he looked over his shoulder, and I wish I had just said, like...
You should have said something.
I should have just said, no, I'm not angry. I'm from New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm angry East Coast walking.
Yeah, this is just the way that we walk. I'm doing the same thing as you. It's nothing personal. I'm not coming for you. You go get your pizza.
He's got a beautiful wife, man.
Does he? Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's got a beautiful wife.
It's so weird to me that I guess this cuts both ways, but does he have such a, and I don't know him
Big
at
dick?
all. No.
Oh.
I don't think he's a bad looking guy.
I mean, I
But
don't get any moisture, but I can see him being attractive.
He's not the handsomest guy. He's fit for a guy his age. He's
and his personality is
trim,
alluring.
He has an amazing personality.
Yeah.
There's a scenario where that amazing personality does not translate into
Sexual.
stand-up superstardom.
I see.
In that scenario, as his wife still is beautiful. And I don't know this lady, so I'm not casting aspersions on her specifically.
Yeah.
It's just a strange thing to me.
I think she was with him before he was famous.
I'm very, very glad to hear that.
Yeah, because, that thing happens. And I think comedians are sort of reserved from that shift that happens with a lot of these Hollywood couples. Like, the quintessential example, I think, is Chris Pratt.
Oh, my, how did I know you were going to say that?
And Anna Faris.
Yeah.
Because she was the hot one. Stereotypically, the hot one.
Was she with him when he was doughy?
She was with the Doughboy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he became the
and
Jurassic
her career
World.
was arguably a little bit... Her career was just as good, if not better.
Yeah, she's, and she's still doing good, but, she's
in syndication.
Movies. She's in syndication?
I fucking can't believe it. I know, it made me so happy when I saw that. So syndication is if you make 5 years of shows, then they can rerun it, and somebody out there's got to actually want the thing, but I don't know where. Is
it Mom? The show Mom?
Yeah, I was driving up the coast, and somewhere I saw... Is that just called Mom?
Yeah, with her and
Allison Janney.
God, she's so funny.
And I'm just like, okay, so both of you got a retirement.
Yes,
both of you.
So amazing.
I've never seen that show. I have no doubt that it is a horrible waste of everybody's time. But I'm so happy you guys got this syndication.
Because it's such a fucking hard industry.
Yeah.
Anytime anybody gets something where it's consistent, you're like, yes, get it. But
that's a retirement fund. You keep working and all that, but you're good.
Yeah, exactly. It's guaranteed cash.
Yes.
And she was with Doughboy, and then he got hot, and then they got divorced. Mm-hmm. It's just a standard situation. But to go back to one point, it's polyandry. It's when a woman marries multiple men.
Okay, and where's that practiced?
That's practiced in the Amazon, and then the opposite of it is polygamy. Is the kind of the opposite.
Polygamy, not
polygamy.
Polygamy. Uh-huh.
It's situations where a man has multiple wives, and polyandry is when a woman has multiple husbands.
See, I don't think I could hack. I definitely couldn't hack being one of many husbands with a woman.
And it's definitely
just
not.
Just because I want to hang out with the dudes more than anything.
You don't want to live with them.
Like, there's a part of it. I think I could kind of handle it if it was a thing where, like, okay, here's another one. When the dads have 2 families.
Oh yeah, you mean like mine? No, my dad. Well, he did, but different times. But yes, I know what you mean.
Right,
like basically like pilots and people in the military, and doctors even.
Women don't tend to maintain those sorts of things now.
Because they come out of our cooch, we can't really leave as easily. You can't
be gone for 9 months at a time.
That's why we're such clingers.
But you don't even really hear about women being like I had a buddy who I believe, because I witnessed him in a couple seasons of his life, in 2 relationships at once with women having no idea that their boyfriend had. And I just kind of got the impression that there had to be a part of that he really enjoyed.
Yeah, it
wasn't just that he didn't have girlfriends and then he cheated on them, like he just couldn't get enough and he had no scruples. He had 2 girlfriends. Not one,
that's addiction.
Not 3.
That's addiction. I just had to check to make sure I had a bra on. I just had a mini panic when you were talking because when I went to lean back, I felt my boobs kind of sag, and I thought I didn't have a bra on, but I do. I'm good.
It's funny because you have Sade's bosoms.
I have Sade's bosoms over mine.
So I did not miss that, but I missed that. But I did. She would have been the one.
She would have been the one whose tits sagged.
You're wearing.
I'm wearing no pants.
You're dressed like Baby Yoda. I don't think you need to worry about.
And you're dressed like an ex-jock rock star whose books just came out.
Hey, if the shoe fits.
I really wish Sade would go back out on the road.
I was just talking to my wife about that. We've been together long enough that we don't remember major things that happened. I had tickets to go see Sade, and we had to because I think what happened.
Squirt material.
She's the best. She didn't tour for the longest time. I think many artists grew accustomed to a certain income from.
Oh, for sure, from touring and.
No, from the catalogs of stuff they'd recorded.
Oh, that's right.
And then when downloading started. All of them had sat down with accountants at one point who were like, 25 years from now, Sting, here's what you can count on from the Police.
Based on the
previous
trajectory.
Napster. And this is what...
Before Napster.
Yeah, and this is what the Stones make, and this is what Fleetwood Mac makes, and here's what you're going to make. And then one day, thanks to Sean Fanning, it just completely went out the window. And I think that's why bands like the Police, who fucking hated each other. Then when they did their first reunion show, there was video of the guitar player giving the drummer the finger behind his back. They did not want to be out there, but I think every one of them had counted on it. Had to is a strong word, but thought that they were going to be making $10 million a year, and now they were making, especially for the drummer and the bass player, maybe $500,000, and they had mortgages, and they were going to have to really change their quality of life if they didn't go back out on the road. So I assume Sade did not want to tour, but if she wanted to keep up, I'm sure she's got some beautiful places. She had to go out on the road, and we had tickets, and we had to sell them. And I remember that happening, and my wife had no recollection. She's like, we should go see Sade one time. And I'm like, we were going to.
I would love to go see her. I wonder, do you think Napster was an inevitable part of the music history? Do you think it would have happened, like, if it weren't Napster, it would have been Grabster or some other company that would come in and figure out how to get music online like that?
Well, yeah, if it wasn't for... If I don't know if the internet was inevitable. It's funny how much, I'm not a science fiction person, but how much science fiction was made for decades and decades, and very, very little of it anticipated the internet.
Right.
Yeah,
it's true.
Like, I guess people, whenever I say that, people are like, no, Star Trek had a blah, blah, blah. But it just wasn't a feature. Everybody assumed flying cars and...
Yeah, flying skate. Everybody assumed everything was going to be flying.
Adam Carolla had a great bit about Skype where he said that every single sci-fi thing you ever saw, Flash Gordon, Star Wars, whatever, they could FaceTime, they could Skype. And then somebody finally made it in real life, and the world collectively was like, eh.
Yeah, we're like, whatever.
And it's so crazy. It just goes to show you the value of marketing and packaging. Skype, I feel like, wasn't really that big. We used it because we had kids and our grandparents are on the coast, but until then I had never used it. People FaceTime all the time.
All the time.
It's the exact same technology.
We take all this shit for granted and we just want more, we want more, we want more. It's like, I don't know. You were talking about, you made me think like these musicians going out and maintaining these luxurious and just ridiculously ostentatious lifestyles. And I don't know if you're this person who says this, but if I were to reach a level of success like that, where you have a multi-million-dollar coming in, I don't know that I would raise above much of where I'm living now. I mean, maybe I would have a nicer abode, maybe a little bit more yardage, but for the most part, I don't.
You might build the cameo.
I might build
edition.
the cameo patio. There might be a fuck swing. Okay, it might be a sex swing in the kitchen, like a custom one. I don't know that I'd go crazy. Would you? Like, I don't know that I'd have all that.
I don't think I'd have sex apparatus in the kitchen.
Well, I mean, wait till your daughter's out of the house. Then answer the question.
I think there's lifestyle creep. I don't think it happens all at once if you're a sane person. I think people who are really insecure or come from nothing, I think that they want all of it right away as soon as they
rapper rich.
As soon as they get it.
Athletes do that. Athletes and rappers, and it's so unfair. To that point, these people get thrown into these industries where they, like you say, they come from nothing, and then they get all this money. They have no financial know-without, like, how to handle it, and then they lose it all because they're not taught how to invest it.
It's really frustrating to me that some of the older, wiser, more put-together athletes don't kind of set a trend. Like, for example, in the NBA, it became cool to be somewhat fashionable.
To have side hoes.
It's always been cool to have side hoes in the NBA, but to have a social conscience is a cool thing in the NBA that wasn't a cool thing in the NBA. And
now it's cool?
Yeah, it is. And they've been hammered because they've been a little inconsistent with the China stuff, and that's a whole other conversation.
What do you mean?
That many athletes were outspoken about what they perceived to be the wrongdoings and excesses of Donald Trump, but then when it came time to say no to money from China, who, I don't know how you want to slice it, China's government is far worse than Donald Trump, then they wanted to bite their tongue because that was where they took
because they got that
from.
Money.
Yeah.
People are so fucking hypocritical.
It's really
when
crazy.
When it comes to their own self-interest, they shut the fuck up.
But, like, I think, and it's very disappointing to me, it really bothers me, but, like, I wish some, like, the LeBrons, the trendsetters, not to say him specifically, would make it cool for rookies to not spend all their money.
Yeah, to stop buying
bracelets
and jewelry and huge pendants around their neck. Like, it's so much of our culture's built around status.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just so it's frustrating to see that, I think.
Yeah, I don't think my lifestyle would change all that
much. Well, you're a fucking rock star. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen when you come rich off this book. You might buy a house and paint it all matte black.
I really have all the stuff that
a devil in your window.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, I've always had more of a Dave Navarro aesthetic that I've been able to indulge in.
Yep, you're going to tattoo. You're going to get like a devil across your chest. It's going to match the decal on your window when people walk in.
Yeah.
The door opens and you've got a custom like devil's laugh that you've had made. Probably, I think Ozzy Osbourne recorded it for you.
Why do I live in Halloween City when I get
I don't know, because aren't you a metal bro?
I am pretty into metal.
Is this am I in the wrong genre? Is that death metal? Is that a different metal genre? How many times can I say genre?
I think I evolved beyond metal. I became more of an indie rock kind of guy. I don't know what stereotypes you care to throw at me now. As long as we're reducing me.
Hummus and veganism.
I'm not a
Would
vegan.
You're not?
I'm not I would not. I've dabbled. There's a value in dabbling.
Are you a half vegan?
No, it's just really good that I hate to, it's so, I fucking think everybody outside of Los Angeles and New York hates the vegan conversation, but.
They really do, because they don't get it, but also those people are still eating Twinkies and shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to be like, extend an olive branch to flyover country here, and you're like, yeah, they don't, because they don't get it.
Well, they don't. That's the reality.
I think it's cool.
Is the olive branch organic?
I think it would have to be.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because I won't eat it. I don't know how they're growing olives these days.
If it's not organic,
it's cool if you do the vegan thing for a quick minute. You just start to realize like, oh, there's places where I didn't even miss meat at all. I can easily do without that moving forward. No, I'd never be vegan. Hummus. I hate when you nail it because you reduce me to cruel one note stereotypes, but. God damn, I do love hummus.
I know, it's probably in your fucking dad pack. You got your dad. What is in your dad pack? I swear it's a bigger dad pack this time.
It's the exact same one.
It's a large dad pack.
I've been trying to. Do you know what's funny? Do you know you wouldn't know this because you're not a dude, but dudes get into a certain kind of fashion, right? And then
like what? Like a certain type of
anything. Like I start buying this kind of jeans, and then that's my jeans.
Yeah, you guys do. You have your jean.
You get your
shirt.
sneakers, right?
Yep.
And
I wish I could do that.
And I kind of compare it to the cigarette companies. I always think it's funny that there's a couple of cigarette brands that nobody smokes anymore except for like 80-year-olds. And the people working there know full well they're just going to continue making them until all of their customers die. Like more cigarettes and Virginia Slim cigarettes are not getting new customers.
No one's buying Virginia Slims or Capri. Wasn't there like Capri?
Yeah. They're just serving
skinny
their
ones?
addicts until they die, right? They're not cool cigarettes. Not cigarettes are any cool, but they're definitely
cool.
not. They're definitely not the cool brand. They're
Take out the tobacco and put marijuana in them. I'll smoke them.
Oh man, you should make
Capri Slims.
Virginia Slims joints.
Oh my God, with marijuana.
That's a really good idea.
That's a great idea.
Take that and run with it.
I just shot. Wait. You had to finish your point.
Right. So, for guys, we don't realize when, like, maybe the thing that we're into, the sneakers or the jeans or whatever, were kind of cool when they came out.
Right.
But we don't realize now that's our lane and we're going to follow that all the way. And so, like, a brand might continue making a style of something that they know is heinous and god awful because they know there are these dudes who will keep buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And I buy these flannels from Levi's. And
I love Levi's.
Well, I went to the Levi's store, and the section for their flannel shirts were just getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Damn.
And I went, and they don't have them anymore, which tells me I was wearing them for 10 years past when I should have been, because they were just keeping them for me. And then there aren't even enough me's left to justify continuing to make them.
You are basically the flannel shirt of people.
It's like what Affliction is.
You've disappeared.
It's like Affliction. They're just making them for Dee Snider.
They're just making them for Dee Snider and date rapers.
I saw Dee Snider the other day. Not a date raper, actually.
I saw Dee Snider, too.
Walking arm in arm, very literally, with his lady friend.
The blonde?
I would guess he's
very cute blonde.
They were an adorable older couple.
Very in love.
Obviously in love, but not in like a stupid look at us kind of way.
No, just
they're
connected.
They didn't know anybody was looking at them. They were just so happy walking together.
That's so weird. I saw him too.
He's just this happy in love old man in head to toe affliction.
Yeah, yes, he is. And I saw him with an affliction. I didn't even think about this. I saw him at the movie theater with his lady, and he had an affliction hoodie, and he had those jeans that looked like they were like made like Luxor, like
yeah, right,
Las Vegas Luxor brand affliction jeans, like the flat pocket.
Did you see him over in the new complex?
Cinemark.
In the Vista,
the
new thing they just threw up with all the condos.
That's so funny. I wonder if
he lives there.
I mean, we just blew up his spot. Sorry.
He's not keeping a low profile.
No, he's not. And like,
he's a walking affliction ad with fangs.
I looked at him. I'm like, yo, I think that's Dee Snider.
Yeah, he's definitely.
And I had to Google it. And I'm like, you know what I realized? In the morning, I look like Dee Snider.
What are you talking about? Oh, really? When you wake up? You should take a picture of yourself with a bone.
When I wake up without makeup, I'm legit like Gary Busey. I'm like Dee Snider.
What are you talking about?
Yes, I am. You know who I am? Like, seriously, without makeup, but the first thing in the morning, it's Mickey Rourke.
Which Mickey Rourke?
The only one that exists now. The one who carries around a chihuahua and a latte in West Hollywood.
The final form?
Apocalyptic Mickey Rourke. That's me in the morning.
Mecha Rourke.
But you know what? I'm honest about it. I'm cool with it. I'm at this place in my life right now. I don't know about you because you're 52. I don't know.
But it's funny because it's almost true.
You have a wife. You have a beautiful wife. You have a beautiful baby.
Thank you.
And you know your career. You're working on your career. Career's going great. Got your book out. You're a fucking rock star. I'm at this place in my life. You know, with all my like little accolades that I've accomplished and being 37. No one could say anything that hurts my feelings. I really truly believe that now because people have said some things. I think ever since like the past year, it just doesn't bother me like it used to. It may sit around for like an hour.
Yeah.
But it goes away. And I don't think twice about it. As where before it would chip away at me.
You would stew on it.
You'd stew on it. Now, like...
What are the sorts of things... I don't want you to give anybody the satisfaction of quoting what they said, but what would be the sort of thing that could...
Oh, you know the internet. You post... People find the littlest flaw that they can zero in on because they're projecting their own issues and insecurities. They find the littlest flaws, like any sort of physical thing, or if you say something wrong, or whatever it is, they zero in on stuff and then they post it. And you're just like, oh, I used to get mad. Now I look at those people and I'm like sad. I'm like, oh man, you're feeling that bad about yourself that you want to put someone down on the internet? You opened your phone and you put energy to type, oh, well, you should have thought about covering up that chimple before you made your video. And it's like, what? I'm promoting a comedy show on my video and you're focused on a chimple? Are you serious?
Yeah, I think that's just almost like a weird instinct that people have of like the. Here's what I think about people on the internet.
Uh-oh. This is a blanket statement.
I feel pretty good about this analogy.
Okay.
When I was in the band and the manager had his space up the road that I would, it's a long story, but I don't have a job. And I used to sit around all day writing songs, which means staring contests with the cat and drinking Meisterbrow, smoking weed, watching daytime TV and Small Wonder and stuff like that. We had a cat and my buddy and I, my roommate and I had a ping pong table. And cats like cannot handle themselves around ping pong balls.
Yeah, they go crazy.
They go crazy. So we had to, and it was a little cat. It was just barely over a kitten. So we had to close the door. So Haley was the cat's name. Haley could not come in when we were playing ping pong because you'd just be up on the table and it would be all over. And I just remember that we would be in there and we'd be in the zone and,
in the ping pong zone?
Ping pong. We kept like a Lifetime series up on the wall, like who was winning.
Oh, that's
hundreds
funny.
of games to hundreds of games. And you would just do that. And then every 15, 20, 30 minutes, the ball would fall off the table and it would roll past the door to the room where the cat was. And there was just enough room that this little paw would just come out.
I love when cats do that.
And it's like, you've been waiting this whole entire time just to there's no way you could get the ball under there. There's no way you could have it.
That's why they're great. They're great hunters, though.
Right. Just so focused on that, and that's what I think the loudmouths and the naysayers on the and look, it's pretty easy to say every time you do something and somebody says I don't like it or that's not good. It's easy to call them haters. Maybe they're not. Maybe you did something that kind of sucks, and
they're acres. I'm gonna start calling them acres, and
they're calling you on it. But it definitely seems to me that the nanny boo boo crowd on the internet of, ooh, did you see so-and-so did this? They are all just the cat.
They're all the cat.
Sitting there.
Putting their paw under the door.
Waiting. And it's a game to them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about what they're talking about. And maybe some of them are miserable, but maybe some of them that's just like they used to play Farmville and then they moved on to Candy Crush and now they play the, ooh, I saw something. Ooh, I'm going to comment on that. Ooh, you're in trouble.
And then when you respond, if you do respond,
you can't.
They say something positive like, oh, I didn't even think you'd see that. Hey, I love your comedy.
Do you get love you bro too?
What? Yeah, I get love you bro. I say bro a lot. I think it drives dudes nuts. I say bro an awful lot.
You should be friends with McGrath.
Does he say bro?
He's very bro-y.
Well, I'm going to be best friends with Mark McGrath.
He's bro G.
Is he?
Yeah, well, he's bro from the heyday.
Oh, God, that's wild.
He's going to ride bro off into the sunset.
What was his band?
Sugar Ray.
Okay. Very LA based, right?
They were from just above San Diego.
Okay. It's got the LA vibe. Like, it gives me that, like, 311.
Mm-hmm.
What
That's
was
fair.
the other one? Like, what's that other, like, very West Coast band?
Sublime?
Sublime.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll bring up Sublime.
Does he have, like, a beef with Sublime?
No, quite the contrary. He is so self-effacing. People make jokes. People make jokes about his band, so he'll beat you to the punch. Before you make the joke, he'll make the joke about his band. That's sort of
smart man.
He's smart and he's good-natured, and that's sort of a defense mechanism too. But he'll say that their first album, they didn't really have much of a musical direction, and then Sublime happened, and Sugar Ray did their next album with the guy who had just done Sublime.
Smart.
And not that they said, tell us, make us them, but they were working on songs, and the guy was like, well, with Sublime, I kind of did blah, blah, blah. And so their stuff was piggybacking stylistically off the success of Sublime. He'll fully confess to that.
And you know what? Here's my opinion on that. It's a short life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of lanes in this life. Get in it.
Yeah.
Swim. And make it work.
And he did. And yeah, and he's got success to show for it. And I just saw, I'm getting so sentimental as I get older.
Don't cry.
I always
Are you
have
gonna cry?
I'm not going to cry.
Okay.
But he put up the thing that you get at the end of the year from Spotify, and it's like 89 million people listen to your songs this year for however many 100 million hours. And
whoa. Did you put up yours to see?
I don't know how.
Is there any way to gauge the Tullywood show?
Yeah, well, yeah. People send me the thing that's like, you were in my top podcasts for the year. Do you get those? It feels amazing.
Yeah, it's got to feel good.
It's incredible.
I get people, I want to do like a top, like whoever's, I think we should do like whoever's DM'd you the most.
Oh,
You know,
no, I don't want
you
to give them
you
the
probably don't
satisfaction.
get a lot of DMs. Girls don't do the same thing as guys do.
No, nobody's sliding in my DMs.
No.
Guys send me photos of people farting and getting their arms
Really?
chopped off. Yeah.
Can you photograph a fart?
No, I'll look what's in there right now.
I'm
It's
here
probably...
to ask the serious questions. Can you photograph a fart? Well, they have those like remember that like video where they showed like fart clouds coming out of people at the airport?
No.
I watch really highbrow videos on the interweb.
Clearly.
I really
How do
do.
you have the time you travel? You've been traveling a lot
Oh God, I've been traveling so much. Oh, speaking of, I'm going to be. When is this coming out? By the way.
this week.
Okay, I am going to be in Missouri this Friday and Saturday.
Missouri.
Springfield, Missouri, at the Blue Room Comedy Club.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to come out, last week. I was in Wisconsin, Skyline Comedy Club.
Mm-hmm.
Great club. I was on the radio there doing a little show promo, and I said I want someone to bring me some like authentic Wisconsin cheese.
Yeah.
I'm in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
They have cheese hats. You know.
I own a cheese hat. Yeah.
You do? So
A
you know what I'm talking
cheese
about.
cowboy hat.
Right. I
Right.
saw one in the airport. I almost bought it.
Mm-hmm.
And
My wife. Yeah.
they got an Asian community there? Actually, they do.
No,
I've
no.
seen two people. There's two people in the Asian
I
community.
think her mom started it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, one of my hosts was Asian. He goes, "There's only like two of us in this town."
I know.
So maybe it was your wife's brother.
It's pretty badass that her mom. There's not a lot
There's
of
no
Asian,
Asians.
not a lot of female-owned sushi restaurants, and not a lot of Japanese people in Wisconsin in general. And she was both. So.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
She's checking two boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of Asians in Appleton, but I told everybody I wanted cheese, and I get off stage on a late Friday show, and this guy shakes my hand, and he's got like something.
Did he do the cheese palm?
He cheese palmed me.
Oh my God! People do that to me with like Vicodin.
People do that to me with weed.
Right.
And he handed it to me, and I thought it was weed. And he was like this old farmer dude. He was like, "This is for you." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, bro. Thank."
it in
I called him bro.
plastic?
It wasn't even a Ziploc. It was one of those sandwich bags you have to fold the plastic flap where you have to kind of like fold it over.
The non-sealing
The
Ziploc?
non-sealing
Oh,
Ziploc.
boy.
And the cheese had already started to sweat because it wasn't authentic cheese.
Mhm.
So it was already starting to
That was the
separate.
oil coming
There was
out,
oil
yeah.
coming off, and it was yellow, which is dyed. He gave me some bootleg Wisconsin cheese. I put a video of it up. I brought it back to my hotel room, and it's just in this like unsealed Ziploc bag, sweating. I didn't eat it.
You've embarrassed yourselves, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
When you give cheese for yourself, you're giving cheese for the whole
Yeah,
for the whole state.
I want some good cheese.
Yeah.
I want the squeaky cheese curd.
Come on, Wisconsin. Remember your values.
Remember your values.
Give good cheese. Go Packers.
Give good head.
Go Badgers.
Give good blockhead of cheese, and it better be Wisconsin grade. Okay?
I think we got to go.
Fuck, really?
Yeah.
How
we should do this again
How'd this
real
happen
soon.
so
I honestly,
fast?
I forgot to keep time, so I think we went really long. But
Damn it, Tully. You started it wrong, you ended it wrong. No wonder your book's got mistakes in it.
Typos, yeah. Getting sloppy.
You are a human typo.
Oh, hell, come on.
I love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
Sharp Tongue Podcast. Beep, beep, beep.